of the Assassin's Creed Shadows controversies surrounding Yasuke, the supposed black samurai that for real existed, for real, guys, even though Japan says that's not true, but, you know, these scholars in America say it is. So, you know, all of that, it's catching up to them. I think at this point, they just need to cancel the game. But one thing they have canceled is early access. Early access is canceled, which honestly, this is probably a good move because they've already gotten so much backlash for everything that they do. All of these inaccuracies with not only Yasuke, but with, I mean, pre-order items, different emblem designs, even the weather and when certain things are harvested. I mean, this is a game that is supposed to have experts and historical experts attached to it, but couldn't possibly be, I mean, more of a mess, right? So, I mean, even escalating up to the Japanese government, all of these issues. So now GameSpot reports that Ubisoft cancels Assassin's Creed Shadows early access. All right, so it said if Assassin's Creed Shadows had stayed on schedule, it would have been released in just under a month. Instead, Shadows was pushed back to an early 2025 release, which was February 14th, which is also the same day that the Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remasters are dropping. So of course I will be playing that and not this. Now, players who purchase the Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition won't be getting early access to the game. That was one of the perks because Ubisoft loves to have these different tiered versions of the games that you can buy. And to me, this is a ripoff, and especially given this, so I don't know what their plan is for these pre-orders, if they'll get early access just at a different time this time, or if that, I don't know. All I know is this is a mess. It is a huge mess. All right, so as reported by Insider Gaming, Ubisoft confirmed the cancellation of Assassin's Creed Shadows early access during a Discord Q&A session. So apparently it's not rescheduled, it's just canceled right now. Seemingly. The company also reiterated it will not be moving forward with its plans of implementing season passes. Okay. Consequently, the price of Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition will be dropping from $280 to $230. Because that's so much better. Who is paying $200+ for Assassin's Creed Shadows? Okay. I'm trying to work on my volume because I know I can get loud sometimes. I don't get it. I think even your most like super fans of Assassin's Creed, I used to call myself a big Assassin's Creed fan. Not so much anymore. I like some of the entries, but definitely not all of them. But anyway, I definitely would not be paying $200+ for a collector's edition or a special edition of this game. I'm not even going to be buying the base game. That's how checked out I am of this. So the collector's edition will still come with a steelbook, an art book, a statue, and more. However, there may be additional changes to those products before the final release. The report indicates that these late changes may be inspired by the issues Ubisoft has had thus far, maintaining historical accuracy and cultural representation. That was one of the given reasons for the game's delay in a previous report, in addition to a request from Shadows developer Ubisoft Quebec to have more time to polish the game before its release. So it's a gigantic mess, and pre-orders are probably not that promising. Additionally, there's been word that Ubisoft Quebec may be adding a co-op mode to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Presumably, this will allow two players to fight side by side as the game's dual protagonists, Naui and Yasuke. But given the delay of the game, that feature may not be ready by launch. I think with Assassin's Creed, just get the base game right first. I mean, this seems like such a mess. Like, work on the base game. Who gives a crap about whatever co-op plans you have when this sounds like a gigantic mess Anyway, so I had to highlight this comic because I thought it was so funny. PG 2022 here says, no, I really wanted to play as the bisexual black samurai in feudal Japan. This is the reason why this whole mess is where it's at. Is that they really stepped in Duke on this, because instead of just giving, I mean, this is, and I've said this should have been easy mode, because you've got that gamer weeb crossover, me being one of those. I love anime, Japanese culture, and then also I'm a gamer. There's a huge crossover with that. A ton of gamers are also really fascinated with Japanese culture. So this should have been printed money easy mode. But instead, they had to go, you know, DEI with everything. You have a game set in Japan. They could have just given us a Japanese protagonist. I'm not even a fan of the dual protagonist things at all, because they can say, oh, but you got Naui here. You know, dude, just give us a singular protagonist. Give us a singular Japanese protagonist. That would have done the trick. People would have loved it. But instead, this is where we're at. I think the dual protagonist thing was because Ubisoft didn't want to commit to giving, in that case, starting with Odyssey, they didn't want to commit to giving us just Cassandra as the lead protagonist. In that case, like, I don't know if perhaps they were like, hey, will a female protagonist sell well for Assassin's Creed? Maybe they had concerns with that, and so they did the dual protagonist thing instead. And then we also saw the dual protagonist in Valhalla. Now, I will say in Odyssey, I thought Cassandra was awesome. I think if they would have only went with her as the main protagonist, that would have been cool, even though apparently Alexios did have more players than Cassandra. So yeah, I think, okay, so they introduced the dual protagonist thing in Odyssey. It should have ended there. Whatever with Valhalla, just stick with the dude, right? Stick with the Viking dude, or, you know, whatever they're going to do. But I feel like now they put themselves in this situation, because if they don't do dual protagonists and they just drop a dude, then you're going to have, you know, especially a bunch of the woke DEI fans and all that saying, oh, why would you do this? You're removing female representation, blah, blah, blah. But then on the other hand, if they only drop the female protagonist, well, then you have a lot of people who are skeptical because of the fact of all of these DEI practices that have been happening. So it's like, is this even going to be a good female character? Because modern female characters aren't that good. Main characters. Let's be real. Because of all this DEI stuff and all this woke ideology and all of that has infested gaming, we have seen characters get ruined. Like Lara Croft, right? Obviously with the remasters, because they are remasters in nature and they actually have a good team, we are not seeing that. But whenever we see a bunch of the new stuff, look what happened with her with like the Netflix adaptation and all that. They just ruin her character. So all of these DEI practices, so if they were just to drop just Naui here, I think a lot of people would still be skeptical, because it's like, oh, are we going to get another woke female protagonist? So they really backed themselves into a corner with this. I think if they really wanted to just play this safe and print some free money, then they would have just stuck with a singular male protagonist, Japanese man, and actually hire historians who are versed in Japan, as opposed to who they did hire, who was supposedly their Japanese expert, but what she actually specialized in and majored in was queer stuff, was all gay stuff within Japanese culture or something like that. So, okay, they're gonna make Yasuke some sort of gay, some sort of queer. They're going to shoehorn this queer ideology that nobody wants into the game, because that's what they spent their money on, was a queer expert. Who wants it? Not me. I don't want queer stuff in my games. So anyway, this is where we're at. I think that for sure this is going to be a colossal mess. I don't know if there's enough time to fix all of this. A lot of us would just like to see them cancel the game altogether, or just like, okay, overhaul it. But that's probably not going to happen. They've already announced it in such this fashion, and we'll see what they do to try to save it. I mean, there's always a chance that it could surprise everybody and actually be good, but I'm not counting on that. So anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.